So, the summer's over, days are getting shorter, the weather's getting colder, and seasonal affective disorder is looking for its new victims. You come back from school or work and it's already pitch black outside. And when you wake up and look out the window, it's all dark and rainy outside. You don't exactly feel like jumping out of bed because, let's be honest, it's much easier to stay wrapped in a comfortable warm blanket. And at the same time, Netflix is releasing more and more shows for you to watch. McDonald's is sending you promotion codes for its new winter menu. And even your favorite video games are releasing new events for you to play. The problem is, at the end of each day, you go to bed unsatisfied. I know that you have big goals in life. You want to be in great shape, make fuck you money, and have the love of your life by your side. But it's difficult to stay motivated and disciplined when all of these distractions are calling your name. That's exactly what started happening to me. I found myself watching more Netflix and working less on my business. And getting out of bed at 5 AM was only getting more and more difficult. But I told myself, fuck this. I have goals, I have people to prove wrong, and I'm not going to waste the next 3 months of my life. So I sat down at my desk and I formulated a plan for my own winter arc. If we haven't met before, my name is Fred, and I went from struggling financially to making over $1,000 in one single day at only 21 years old. All of that coming from a low middle class background. I went from being socially anxious, unable to go for a walk, to generating over 37 million views on social media in 6 months. I made a video in which I share my full story, how I got to where I am, and I also break down the step-by-step process I followed so that you can copy me. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. See, in life, I genuinely believe there are two different types of people. The people who see opportunity, even in difficult times, and the people who let circumstances hold them back. And I'll be completely honest with you, for a while, that was me. I was letting my own circumstances prevent me from doing the things deep down I knew I needed to do to reach my goals. I wasn't going outside because I was traumatized. I couldn't reach out to prospects on LinkedIn and even conduct sales meetings because I was paralyzed by fear. I was letting my anxiety rule my decisions until one day I decided I had enough. Change only happens when the pain of change is stronger than the pain of change. Which is why, before you formulate your own plan for the winter arc, you need to start getting pissed off right now. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down everything you're dissatisfied with in your current life. Here's exactly what I wrote down just a few years ago. I was sick and tired of being broke and of seeing people in their early 20s succeed online. I knew they weren't smarter than me. They just had more courage. They were willing to put themselves out there and to do things at the time I wasn't willing to do. I was sick and tired of being skinny and not feeling good in my own skin. I was sick and tired of being lonely, of having no one to share my life with. And above all, I was sick and tired of letting my social anxiety ruin my life. Now the next step is to become crystal clear on what your goals are. Most people's goals are too vague. They say they want to make more money, get in better shape, or have better relationships. But all of that means nothing in reality. A real goal is more precise, and it comes with a step-by-step action plan. If your goal is to go from 0 to $5,000 or $10,000 per month within the next 90 days, you need to formulate a strategy around that. That is a much more effective goal than simply saying you would like to make more money. And most importantly, you need to know why you have these goals. Saying that you want to make more money just for the sake of it won't actually be motivating enough for you to take action on a daily basis. The same thing is true for any other goal. For me personally, I decided to start my first online business years ago because I wanted to stop worrying about the price tag of everything, and I also wanted to be able to provide for the people I love. And so even to this day, when I don't feel like putting in the work, when I'd much rather go and watch Netflix, I tell myself why I'm doing things. I remind myself I'm not only doing it for me, I'm doing it for the people I love. Now the third step is to focus on inputs, not outputs. The inputs are the things that you do, while the outputs are the results that come from these same actions. So in this case, an input could be something like, I'm going to reach out to 100 new leads every single day. Whereas an output would be something like, I want to make $10,000 per month. The problem is that when you judge yourself based on the results that you get, the outputs, you are focusing on the wrong metric. Instead, a much smarter way to go about things is simply to ask yourself this: what inputs do I need to make it unreasonable for me not to get what I want? If we stick with the example of starting a successful service-based online business, if you were to reach out to 100 new leads per day or even 500 new leads per day, that itself would not guarantee that you would get the output that you want, aka making $10,000 per month. However, you sure as hell increase your chances of getting that output. Now what comes after that is removing all distractions. Winter Arc is all about focusing exclusively on your goals and making the greatest comeback of your life. So for the next 90 days, you want to eliminate all distractions. Create a routine that you can realistically stick to, because the goal isn't to work like a maniac for 6 months straight and then you're burnt out and and you can't work for 2 more years. Here's what my personal winter arc routine looks like. I wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm in bed by 8:30 p.m. I get a protein shake, I make myself a cup of tea, and then I do an hour and a half of deep work before heading off to the gym. Then I use the rest of the morning to complete difficult tasks. I have my lunch break, and then until 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. I'm going to focus on the tasks that need to be done but that require less mental energy. Now, doing this for 90 days straight is pretty difficult, I won't lie. Which is why if you're struggling to stick to it, I highly suggest you stick to the winter arc routine for 10 to 14 days and then you give yourself a day off. That way you can recharge your batteries and you don't run the risk of burning out. Remember, we want to focus on longevity. Now, it's great to have big goals, but you need to keep yourself accountable. I've realized that when you break the promises you make to yourself, it lowers your self-esteem and your self-confidence. But that means that the opposite is also true. When you follow through on the things you said you were going to do, you create positive momentum, which makes it a lot easier to keep going. So to keep yourself accountable, you can have a Google Excel sheet or a Notion template that you use to track your habits every single day. It could be waking up at 5 and doing 2 hours of deep work, reaching out to 100 new leads, completing an intense workout session, things that will allow you to reach your goals if you do consistently. What you can also do is to have a friend or a family member to keep you accountable. If you fail to do the thing you said you were going to do, you will owe them $50. Now with that said, let me know in the comments down below what routine you are going to follow in your winter arc.